Righto guys, estimating, one of the things we all hate. Well, I used to, I kind of like it now, but without getting too geeky, I'm going to explain to you how to get lineal, square, each items and cubic items out of a set of plans. And I'm going to explain recipes and how to associate labor and products and suppliers with products. Now, what you think I'm looking at here is a typical 2D plan, and it is what will create the 2D plan. However, it's actually a 3D model, and I'm going to go up the top to this scene up here and have a quick look at this 3D model. Everything's turned on at the moment, so you can see through the model we have structure, furniture, and everything. So for several reasons, we can show the customer what they're going to get. We can show the subcontractors what they need to install. We can get prices per lineal meter on timber in this case, or each bricks, or labor, or cladding, or anything else that's associated with this product. So for instance, we've got some WeatherTex cladding here, posts and so on. I'm going to keep it simple for this exercise, guys. I'm going to quickly just go to something I've created earlier and have a look at it. Now, before I mention that we're going to want to quantify linear, well, the length in lineal. We're also going to figure out square, but we need to break that down into each items. And we can also talk about cubic in other videos, but it's very similar behind the scenes. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to click on one wall and I'm just going to take off the selection only, just so it simplifies it a little bit for us. And you'll notice that I have 4 categories here of items inside of this wall. And these have all come from what I chose to do when I actually drew the wall. So when I open my wall tool, I just use the keyboard shortcut there, guys, by the way, but it is W or up here, right? I've chosen a wall type, and inside of the wall type, I've chosen framing. So what's my stud spacing? What type of timber I'm going to use, if I'm going to use battens or top plates, or if it's load bearing or not. If I was going to put materials on it, therefore you can see I've got the WeatherTex Classic Rough Sawn, and we'll go into this one in a second. Plasterboard on the inside, insulation. Everything in red here is signaling where this product is going to go. And it also would help us figure out whether it's going to be lineal, square, or cubic. Right, so if I chose this product here, and I might go and just choose one I haven't created a recipe for. Let's just use this WeatherTex Self-Lock Eco Smooth. And make sure I haven't put that in there. You know what, I might have used that one. Let's use a different one. Eco Groove 300. See, I haven't used that. And I'm just going to close this estimate here for a second. And I'm going to put in a wall. I'm going to make it 4 meters long because it's 2.5 meters wide, and 2.5 times 4 is 10 square meters. 4,000, enter. Guys, you should always work in millimeters when you're in Australia and using metric. And you can see it's put a different type of cladding on the wall to these ones here. Now, I'm going to quickly just go back to this takeoff, selection only. And we're going to look at it a little bit further. So if I go in here to cladding, you'll notice that I have WeatherTex Prime Lock Federation, and I have 10 square meters, so 4 by 2.5 is 10. But I have 19 boards there, right? So I needed to know how many square meters there were in a board. And that's part of creating a recipe. But you'll also notice that I'll have other things in there. I've got install Prime Lock, right? There, and I also can associate things like gal ring shank nails. How many nails would I require? Now it will round up to the next nail size as well once you learn how to do this process. So essentially we turn square meters into each items. We can also turn square meters into lineal items and other things like that, and I'm going to show you how to do that. What I'll do is I'll just keep this one open over to the side here, and I'm going to reopen another one. I'm going to do a takeoff on the wall that I just drew for you. So right click, takeoff, selection only. Okay. And now when I look at my cladding, you'll notice that I have WeatherTex Self-Lock Eco Groove, but I only have 10 square meters in a board. And also it's saying I don't have any gal ring shank nails in this because the recipe hasn't been linked with this product. It's straight out of the box as you would be seeing the software the first time you've got it. Now if I'm going to go here and go edit, see more, I would want to put in how many items there are per square meter, or how many meters there are, or how many square meters there are per item. And the way I would find that out is I would actually probably Google this, because the supplier will have it on their website. Go and open up a Google page and go Control V, and I will go to the WeatherText website. Here we go. And therefore I could go and look at the quantities, and you can see it says 300 millimeters is the overall board size, but the effective cover looks like it'd be less 20 mils, say. So it'd be 280 by 3660 long. So I'm going to bring my calculator up. 0.28 times 3.66 equals. So I have 1.2 meters per board. 1.0248. Right, 1.0248. 1.0248. And therefore I need 10 boards because it's rounded it up. Okay? How many items are there per square meter? There's 0.975 items per square meter. So in short, a board is greater than a meter. Therefore, there's 10 square meters, rounded it up to the nearest board is 10. There's 10 boards there. Now I can add in a price as well. Good old Google, you can go back to Google and you can actually Google a price on these as well. Let's go to here and go Control V. Okay, I got $68.30 per board. Right, so item price, not item per square meter, so $68.30 per board. That might be including GST. You would deduct GST if you want to. Everything I put in here is the price I pay for it. Okay, and then you can also choose a vendor who you want to purchase that through. So I'm just going to type in hardware, and it's going to bring in my suppliers. Now, guys, if you're using Xero, or if you know how to use Excel and put all your suppliers, you can bring all of your suppliers in there. Also item codes. So if you're going to link up with Xero, you'll notice that you have item codes inside of Xero. You would import them and you would use the Xero tool to import those. You can give it job addresses and so on. You can send these to Xero for quoting. You can send it to Xero for sending purchase orders to subcontractors or suppliers. And that's how you go about it. Now, you also remember before, guys, we spoke about nails, right? And you'll notice down here, I have these recipes that I created there before. And if I click on it, it's saying Gal ring shank nails. Now, you might have different size nails for a different size board, so I could just create a new recipe, so add new item, and we might say that we actually need a Gal ring shank nail, but it's going to be 65 millimeters. All right, and I'm going to need 10 nails per 1 square meter. Right? The most important thing here is you put in the right numbers. So I need 10 nails per 1 square meter, and I can link this to just the one product. If I had done an estimate of everything, I could link it to multiple, but I'm just going to link it just to this one product. Therefore, I can link it to the number of boards. So I might say how many nails per board, but we said how many nails per square meter. So I'm going to click square meters, and then I'm going to save the changes. It says you can also associate this with other products, and you will do this down the track because it will save you a lot of times, but for now, I'm just going to say no. And therefore, I've got 10 nails per square meter, and therefore I've got 100 nails. Now, I might only be able to buy them in 200 packs. 200 is the minimum I can purchase, and how much would I pay per nail? Let's say it's 9 cents. Therefore, it's $9 for 200 nails, even though I don't need enough. That's how many I would buy, the minimum purchase rate. I would also put in my supplier here, hardware vendor, and then I can now send that to my supplier, so I can order that with the cladding. The same would go with labor as well. Now, let's go back up here. You'll see that we've got Self-Lock, Eco Groove, Natural, and it's not there, but we might charge different rates for different products. So for instance, you'll notice that to install Prime Lock, I charge $50 a square meter. However, to install Self-Lock Eco Groove, it's $55, and to install WeatherText rough sawn 200 mil, I charge $65. If it's the same price as another one, I can simply just link the existing item to the product in square meters. And therefore, it's now added this to the list. So it's linking the labor price of prime lock as well as the same one I did. So I could go /V. Sorry, last thing I Google search was ring shank, but you understand what I'm saying, I believe, because it's just self-lock eco, and then I would go and put that in there. Therefore, I can associate it with other products at the same time by clicking on it, and I can make sure every time I do a job with this product, it will remember it, and I'll always have my rates in there so I can quantify as I go. Guys, it's really simple. All we want to do is figure out what the quantities are, what unit of measure is that we need, and how to associate price with them so that we can get a quote to the client and we can send an order to the supplier or subcontractor on how much to install it. Now, my tip, guys, is to ensure that you look at the tutorials, and if you have any questions, click on the forum here. It'll take you to the forum. You can ask questions as you go. We've got a community of users that use this, some professional estimators, professional builders that will help you out, and we log in as well to help you out when we can. Right, so we've gone through square, and we can also talk about lineal again from a square measure. So because we drew a wall in here, and you'll notice this is the one that I took off, it's giving me the total lineal of, these you can see I've got timber frames, and I have a masonry wall over here. So when I go and do a takeoff now, it's going to tell me several things. When I go to my cladding and edit see more, I now know that I have 12 lineal meters of wall framing and I have 4 lineal meters of masonry framing. So I can do exactly the same thing and associate a recipe with that. I might go back and say do that inside of masonry. So because I did a takeoff of everything, it's now quantified everything inside. So now I can see how many bricks that I have. I need 501 bricks for that particular wall. It's 10.031 square meters. Why is that the case? It's because it has a top plate on top of the wall as well, and wastage. Let's quickly look at wastage as well. I have a 5% wastage here. If it was a 0% wastage, I would have the exact measure of the wall, which would be the top minus the top plate. It would be 9.8. But if I had 5% wastage inside of here, I need 500 bricks. Now, I would also link labor with bricks as well. And just as I added labor in the last items here, you'll notice here I have common bricks. How much do I pay bricklayers for common bricks, right? And I've linked it and I put in a unit price for commons. Now, if I was also going to have a price for face bricks and I added another brick, I could add a $2 say per square meter for that, and therefore I could send it to that supplier. To break this down, guys, we have recipes here that are associated with materials you would buy from a supplier, and you have recipes associated with labor tasks to install the product that you've drawn in your model. The product you've drawn comes down to when you draw your wall. So basically, if you draw it right the first time, you will always have the right quantities at the end. Most importantly, you can see what it is you're estimating. Let's quickly just open the wall tool here, and I'll quickly go through and trace around these walls. I won't get too detailed here, but you'll get an idea that when you get to complexity, you can quantify a lot in a short amount of time. You can also choose your skirting and architraves as well. Now, if I go down here, trim, if I go into trim, I can choose internal skirting, offsets, and everything like that, right? And I go to the end there, draw it, and if I go to see all, you'll notice that it turned on my skirting and my cornice at the top there. It has my internal lining, it has my cladding, and it also even has the quad there that we're going to use on the wall. Now, in some cases, we're going to have step downs on that wall, but just so we can see how this works, I'm going to go right click and take off selection only. Therefore, I've just taken off that part of the job that I just drew. And if we looked at the cladding here, we're just quantifying the cladding that was selected. Therefore, I have 117 meters or 115 pieces of the Eco Groove Natural, because that's the recipe I put in there before. However, jobs change all the time, and let's have a look at this. There's going to be windows and doors in here, and I don't want to estimate this twice. I'm going to go add a door, and we'll choose this big sliding door here. Now that's obviously reduced the amount of cladding that's in the wall, and before I just refresh this, let's have a look. You can see that I have 115 pieces or 117 square meters. Now I'm going to refresh it because I just changed it. And we go to our cladding again. We had 117 meters there before, I believe. Now I have 109 square meters. Right, so this estimate and labor prices are updating when you update the model. Therefore, if changes are made, you don't have to worry about doing it. So as you can see, 109 square meters there. Now if I went back over to here and say I pulled this wall because the customer decided they wanted it to be bigger, right, 109 square meters, I'm going to select it and take it off again. Right click, take off selection only, cladding. I've got 147 square meters of cladding there. So you can see that things are updating as we go, and the prices are updating, and also the labor is updating, the number of nails is updating. Recipes are so important to getting your estimates right and ensuring that you guys stay on track, because it's your money when you start your own business. You want to ensure that you're charging the right amount of money. You charge too much, you lose the job. You don't charge enough, you lose money out of your wallet. Now, neither of them are the ideal outcome. So PlusDesignBuild has been specifically built by builders for builders to ensure that we can see what it is we're estimating, we can show our clients what we're going to estimate, and more importantly, we can have our subcontractors and suppliers getting paid the right money. Instead of asking them for a quote, give them a price. Alright guys, hope it helps. If you like the video, push like. If you dislike the video, push dislike, but make sure you tell us why. Cheers guys, don't forget to watch tutorials. They're really important. They'll help you get along really quickly and get your job done more efficiently.